Aloha. Thank you again for joining us here at BYU Education Week. We are excited to be able to bring this whole series together, Unpacking Hawaiian Values, discussing about Mahalohana. So today's one, it really just, it's bringing it all together, right? So let me just kind of state this first. This living the values of Mahalohana, that is really where the rubber meets the road. And that's what we want to do today. But before we kind of get into the meat of it all, into all of the good stuff, let's just kind of look at this again. Mahalohana is not really a real Hawaiian word. Okay? But this is the culmination and convergence of three of the greatest Hawaiian words. We have mahalo, we have aloha, we have ohana. So these three great words have come together and really put together this new word called Mahalohana. And again, this may not be a real Hawaiian word, but I do think that this new word embodies the three greatest values that we discussed: mahalo, aloha, ohana. And these values are the values that can help shape our lives, our families, our communities. And it all begins with Hawaii. So, Hawaii is a very special place. And the kauna of its name, the deeper meaning, guides us and directs our behavior. The word ha, which means breath, life, essence, the space and the atmosphere, this is ha. It's the first breath you take when you come into this planet. It's the last thing you give when you leave. And in between the first and last breath, you never own it. It's the vai, the water that we drink. It's in and within each of us. It's the spiritual water that guides us daily. It's what connects us to one another. It's the I, the spiritual force, the creative energy that some would call God, or the cosmos, or nature. It allows us to recognize one another before we've introduced ourselves or shared our backgrounds. It's that chicken skin feeling, the ha, the vai, the I. It's the mission statement that guides us, that says, care for the air, the water, and the spirit of the land. Watch what you eat, and watch what you serve others. This is how you treat your friends and your places. Leave people and places better than how you found them. Our kuleana, our responsibility, is to do just that. To care for the air, the water, and the spirit of the land, for ourselves, for others, for the present, as well as the past. All as we honor our ancestors from the past as we look into the future. This is Hawaii. Now, I think it's really important to also understand that when we look to Hawaii, this beautiful state, our Hawaii state motto, which is attributed to the late King Kamehameha III, says, "Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono." The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. This motto was further explained to me by my ohana: to do what is right in your life, for the land, and for its people. Now, we talk about the substance of Mahalohana. What are some of the ways that we can actually live those principles that we've discussed? Over the past 3 days, we've talked about mahalo, aloha, ohana. So I think today is this culmination, again, to bring it together, but more importantly, make it go from values to behaviors, where the rubber meets the road. Action. That's what we need. We need to be able to figure out, how do we start to implement this? So I want to really talk about this, starting with mahalo. Okay? So when we look at mahalo, again, this concept is the idea that mahalo means thank you in its simplest form, right? And as we talked about the other day, the kauna of mahalo means to acknowledge and recognize and respect this divine breath that you have shared with me. It's this gratitude for allowing me to be in your divinity. So that's where we're at, is to think within this concept of a deeper understanding of mahalo. Now, how do we bring it to life? The best way for me is to kind of help you understand what we do in Hawaii. The best way for me to help you understand is really to help you see how we do this in Hawaii. So, mahalo in Hawaii is this, okay? So we're gonna take you on this journey. Basically, you come into Hawaii with me, and we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna talk story, and in mahalo, this is one way that we look at it, okay? If you ever go to Hawaii, you're gonna be able, if you're fortunate enough, you can go to these various places and you see these entertainers playing music and whatnot. And sometimes they have their own hula dancers. And sometimes you may get lucky enough where they call somebody out of the audience to come up and dance hula. And mahalo in Hawaii in this context, when someone is called up to dance hula, when they are done, the good hula dancers will always turn around and recognize the musicians. The really good hula dancers, the ones who understand it, will actually go back and honi, or kiss, each one of the musicians to tell them mahalo, right? It's this idea that if I'm playing music, I have the stage. This is my stage. Everybody's looking at me. Everybody's listening at me. Everybody's clapping for me. The fact that I extended this invitation to you to come up here and share your talents, to share your time, to share your love of dance and everything else with everybody else out there, that's something that you can express gratitude for. And when you turn around and you tell the musicians mahalo, and then when you go over there and kiss them, that expression is never lost. People in the audience, they recognize that. That is one thing that everybody takes notice of. If you go up and dance and walk right off after you're done, they're like, wow, there's no gratitude in that. But when you go ahead and offer that gratitude to the musicians, to the people working, that right there is a prime example of mahalo in its most fun form. Next, this right here is a really cute one, okay? When you're driving in Hawaii and you are moving lanes or you're merging, it's a difficult situation. It's stressful. When somebody comes in and just jumps into your lane, if you're the one getting cut off, there's a lot of bad things that go through your mind. But if the person that cuts you off puts their hands up to say, mahalo, thank you, it changes the attitude. I mean, I can say for me, I've been in that position many times where somebody's coming in and they cut me off and it's like, oh! But the moment I see this go up in the front of me, oh, it's okay. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Please feel free to cut me off anytime. It's okay. And vice versa. I always try to do that. When I come inside, I'm always giving the shaka. I'm always telling them thank you. It changes the environment of this hectic thing that we call traffic. It's a simple thing, but imagine if that was going on more and more places. Just the other day, I was talking to somebody who is from New Zealand, went to BYU Hawaii, got married to a Hawaiian, and then now is coming back up here and living in Utah. And she said she misses it because the drivers are crazy. I said, guess what? The driver's crazy all over the place. In Hawaii, they just add in this mahalo scenario, and that's what makes us seem less crazy. So, that's another example. Next, when you go to stay at somebody's house, if you're going to stay over, you should always take some okana. Okana is like just a small little gift, right? Whether it be Kauai cookies, Trader Joe's cookies, just something Okay? It doesn't have to be huge. That's the thing that's beautiful, is the fact that somebody has extended their home to you, allowed you to come into their hale and stay with them. That's a beautiful thing. They're not expecting you to come and bring a $100 gift certificate to go eat at Roy's. They expect nothing. That's the Hawaiian way. They give with no expectation to receive. But when they receive, they're always thinking, how can I give back? So this right here is a very good example of, again, this mahalo, because it extends both ways, right? So I hope you understand, the integration and the application of mahalo is pretty universal. It's not just a Hawaii thing. When me and my wife came up here, we traveled, and I had one big bag that was all ohana. I had Hawaiian macadamia nuts, Trader Joe's cookies. Why? Because when I check in at the airport in California, I give ohana. Wow, just so happened Auntie upgrade us. When I arrive at the airport here in Salt Lake, I give it to the person at the car rental place. Wow, I have exactly the car that I wanted. Wow. And all it took was a $1.50 Trader Joe's cookie. Go to the hotel. Give the front desk ohana. Just something beautiful. When we go into the hotel room, when we're finished, we're going to leave something over there for the people that help clean our room. They're going to remember that. All of these small little things. It's not big. Ohana isn't meant to be this huge thing. It's the thought that becomes more valuable than the actual gift itself. So, the last one that we talk about here in Hawaii and the application, and this was a little controversial, but I got to say it. If someone cooks, all the other people who ate and did not help in preparing the dishes, they should help clean up. In our home, if you cook, you don't need to clean. The women in my class was clapping. All the men was giving me stink eye. I'm only joking. But it's serious. Can you imagine how parties would be? Because I don't know about you guys, but when we have parties, when we get pa'ina, and people come over our house, it's a big deal. A small little get-together in Hawaii is like 60 to 80 people. That's just Sunday dinner. Can you imagine if Mama is over there cooking for 60 people, and then after everybody is leave and they're going, Mama got to go and clean up, and then Mama got to make sure everybody's okay. Oh, wait, no, Hawaii. It's about balance. It's about doing the things that are right. We live together as a family. So guess what? In my home, if my wife cooks, and the children that help her, when they're done, after they're done, they get to go sit down. And they don't, and this isn't, okay, good, I don't have to clean up. It's not like that. It's not like that. Because if my wife cooks, she's going to clean. Because in her mind, this is my responsibility. But everybody else who did not cook, we make sure that she understands. We mahalo what you just did. We appreciate it. Please, you go sit down. Please, do not take your plate. Let us take over. Do you think my wife likes to cook? Yes. I like to cook too now, because that makes it a lot easier. So it's really nice because together me and my wife get to decide which dish is easier to clean up or easier to cook. So again, these are different things that we can look at in how we act and react, knowing these values that we've talked about. Next, we'd like to talk about aloha. Okay? Aloha. This right here is, when we talk about aloha, we know that the definition of aloha from the context that we all know is hello, goodbye, and love, right? It's a greeting. But the kauna, the deeper meaning, is to be connected in the presence of divine breath, right? This is how people are made whole. It's the idea to give without expecting anything in return, to receive and not forget to give back, right? You give and receive without thinking. But if you think about it, it's very similar to that of Mahalo, right? The foundation is there. But if you think about it, the same root words are there. Ma, ha, alo, aloha, aloha. The only thing you're missing is the ma, which is directional. So this idea of give without expecting anything in return, being able to make people whole, being able to bring this together, this is the foundation of aloha. This is the spirit of aloha. So, aloha in Hawaii, right? What does that look like? How do we bring this into practice, into our life? Okay, so this is one of the things that we look at almost immediately when somebody comes over to your house. When you go to somebody's hale, if they're in Hawaii, you take off your shoes, you take off your slippers. You don't walk into somebody's house with shoes or slippers on. And I'll be upfront, it really isn't a Hawaiian thing. This was actually rooted in the Japanese culture. But guess what? All the Hawaiians do it. If you come into their house, everyone from the smallest keiki, the smallest child, all the way up to grandma, going to tell you, "Oi, hammer your shoes, take your shoes off, just leave them right outside there." You go to a family party, you can walk into their garage or into their house. Before you get in, right outside on the porch, loaded slippers. Loaded. So if you get slippers that's no good, I guarantee you can go ahead and swap out probably. Don't do that. Okay, that's not aloha. But this is something small that is a really big part of the Hawaiian people. The people of Hawaii, you just don't walk into their house with shoes on. Okay? This shows that you respect them, you love them, you understand it. Next, this is another one. Okay? When you go to a luau, make sure you hone and mahalo na kupuna. Right? What that means is, when I go to a luau, one of the first things that I ask, where is grandma? Where is papa? Who is the matriarch and or the patriarch of this ohana? Now I will go and say hello as I keep moving through. Okay? But my number one objective is to beeline it straight to them and make sure that I honi them, I kiss them, so that they know that I am grateful and that I love the opportunity to be here. That is a real big part of our culture. Being able to understand this makes a real big difference in whether or not you get invited back. Next, when food is offered, you cannot say no. You just can't. You can't. Because this is a sign of aloha. When you go to my mom's house, and anybody that know my mom can attest to this, when you go to my mom's house, she doesn't ask, how are you? How are your mom? How's your dad? The first thing she asks, boy, you hungry? You hungry? And if somebody says no, her response is, why? You don't like my food? What? You don't like my cooking? Huh? What? Auntie, can I cook good? Huh? What? You don't like my food? Okay. So you eat. And you keep eating. And 2 hours later, my mom can ask you again, boy, you hungry? No, I'm okay. Piha. But this is good. I'm good. Right? Ma'ana. I'm satisfied. Okay? Cooking is a way Hawaiians show their love. And you being able to receive it is an extension of that love. It's a reflection of that love. Lastly, when you go and you hone people, you kiss them on the cheek. You give them a hug. That is how you greet people. That is the proper way to greet people in Hawaii. Now, I grew up that way. We always shaking hands, giving them hug and kiss and whatnot. And let me just give a caveat to that, because not everybody feels comfortable doing that, especially in this day and age, right? We got COVID, and I mean, just to be straight, I think it was the 1800s, I think it was. The Hawaiian people almost got decimated because of this the exchange of breath. Why? Because of influenza. So I get it. We need to be cautious, We need to be cognizant of what's going on in the world and all this stuff. But as we continue to embrace this Hawaiian culture, to embrace this attitude, the values, being able to greet people is part of that. So one of the big things that I say is, when you kiss people, kiss them, it's okay. But just know, for me, if I kiss one, I kiss all. It's not a matter of I only kiss the pretty ones, I only kiss the girls. Guess what? I kiss everybody. I kiss everybody. Even the boys. I just no lips, okay? But you kiss them on the cheek, and you give them a hug. When you get a hug from my mom, it's a hug like no other. It makes you feel warm. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel protected. More importantly, it makes you feel loved. That's how you honor somebody. That is how you hug somebody. Don't do none of this, okay, tap on the back, so turn the head, say, nice to meet you, Don't do that. If you're not going to do it that way, then just do it the right way, which is, how's it? Aloha. How are you? It's okay nowadays. Nowadays, Hawaiians, they understand that because of COVID. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to do it right. Embrace it. Allow people to see, this is who I am. I have a lot of aloha, and I want to share it with all of you. The next value, ohana, right? So ohana means family. And when you look at the word ohana, you're seeing the foundation of oha. That right there is the next generation. You've got the foundation of life, ha. That's the breath of life. This is perpetuated with labor, hana. This is demonstrative of how we feed one another, which is ana. And that is to demonstrate, to teach, to show. For what? Na, our future. This is ohana. So ohana in Hawaii. This is my ohana. Different colors, different sizes, different personalities. But this is still my ohana. How do we look at it in Hawaii? First, it's okay to call people auntie, uncle, mom, dad, sister, brother. My mom, we had 3 boys in my family growing up, right? I'm the oldest of 3 boys. We all played sports. We all did a lot of big things in sports. I mean, just constant. We all played at least 3 sports every year. So you got, 9 different teams that would come over to our house. And my mom does not know anybody's name. She doesn't even try to learn their names. Everything to her is when the girls come over, the cheerleaders come, and we have Pa'ino or whatever, and they're always coming down. All the girls is baby girl, is baby, is tita. All the boys is boy, brother, little man. That term of endearment goes deep. They always answer. Anytime a Hawaiian calls, hui, brother, I can almost guarantee you, if they're from Hawaii, they're going to turn around. You go to Hawaii, it's hard. If you're a parent, it's hard to not turn around when you hear somebody call, hey, Dad. Why? Because not only your children call you Dad. Their friends call you Dad. Their cousins, they trying to figure it out. So you know what? Forget about calling you uncle. Sometimes I just call you Dad too, just because I know you're going to answer to that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how you would treat people if they called you dad, or uncle, or brother, right? It's a whole different dynamic. Why? Because you don't need to be blood related to be family, to be ohana. That is ohana in Hawaii. Next, this kind of goes back again to the luau side. When you go to a luau, I kind of touched on this before. When you walk into a luau, you cannot just go directly to pupu or to papa. Even though that's your goal is to get there, if you are passing people, you cannot pass somebody without acknowledging them. If you don't know them, you at minimum got to say, aloha, how's it? It may be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's a lot uncomfortable if you do not do that. So, again, when you're walking into the luau or to a party or a family gathering, anything, you literally have to go and see everybody. My children hate this. Kids hate this because they tell me, Dad, my lips are chapped from kissing everybody. Now that they're older, those same uncles and aunties cherish all of that. My children, they understand that. You start them young, doing the rounds. They know everybody. They know everybody. Next, ohana in Hawaii. Be kind to all the animals. It could be ohana. So, I know many of you may have pets, and they are definitely a part of your family. But in Hawaii, it goes a step further. In Hawaii, we have what is known as aumakua. These are our deities that protect us. These are our ancestors that have gone before us and come back to take the form of various animals and things in this world. We have the honu, the turtle. We have the shark, the mano. We have the puel, the owl. We even have Pele, the fire goddess. There's many ancestral aumakua that protect our aina, our land, our ohana, our family. So we need to be mindful of this. Now, I remember growing up as a Hawaiian and then eventually becoming a member of the church. It was difficult because, there's this conflicting idea that only God is God. So how can you, quote unquote, worship these family gods? What I've since learned is that we talk about, these ministering angels on the other side of the veil. That's my aumakua. Those ministering angels on the other side of the veil that have come to penetrate the veil, to help me and my family, to give guidance, protection, comfort, love. So be kind to all animals. You never know if that could be someone's ohana. And lastly, I think this is the most important. This is the most important statement in everything that we've made. Everyone is family. Everyone is ohana. Doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter if you are from Hawaii or you've been to Hawaii. Everyone is family. And if you think that way, you act different. You treat them different. These are the things that we really want to help to get ingrained in each and every one of us as we move towards this idea of exercising Mahalohana and bringing it into our everyday lives. So the word ha, which means breath, life, energy, it's found in Mahalo, Ohana, and Aloha. To speak these words is to give life. These words acknowledge the divine spirit that is in each and every one of us, that brings life, that gives life, that shares life, right? In Hawaii, everything, including the spoken word, has mana, has life, has mana. Mana is power, right? This is a spiritual or divine power. Just like the word aloha, mahalo is a sacred word with very powerful mana, right? Just speaking the word can transform you, can heal you, can protect you. So be careful. Be careful when you say these words. Make sure that you know that with each one of these words, there's commitment. There's a commitment behind them, right? Say these words only if you truly mean it. Don't just throw it out haphazardly, right? Because the commitment that you make behind these words is that I will protect the air between us. I will do everything that I can to honor this life force between us. I will do everything I can to make you and the land around you better than when I found you or when you found me. That kind of commitment is big. And if you cannot make that kind of commitment, then just say hi. Thanks. Okay? But don't just throw it around. Don't just throw it around haphazardly or say it carelessly, because you may actually do more harm than good. I want to kind of talk about this way of aloha that was given to us by Auntie Pilai Paki. She was the one who helped usher in the aloha spirit law that we talked about. This was a gift to the people of Hawaii and to the world. She knew that in the 21st century, the world would be in chaos, and they would come to us to help find a cure, to help fix the challenges that they're having to go through. And for us, the solution is aloha. And she said, before you can have aloha, you must do aloha. You cannot just expect to go to a party and aloha's going to be there. You have to bring aloha with you. Before you can be aloha, you must choose aloha. Choose this day. Choose ye this day who you will serve. Choose this day to have aloha in your heart. Before you can choose aloha, you must have the power to choose. You must be conscious and aware that this is it. And then before you can have the power to choose, you must be the source of the power. You cannot give power to somebody or something else. Well, I cannot do that because my mom said I cannot. Or, my children won't let me do that. Or, my wife. No. You have to take responsibility, right? And most importantly, the last part, and this kind of rolls into what we talked about within the Aloha Spirit Law, right? Before you can be the source of power, you must be conscious of the source, right? And the reason why is because if you know the source, if you connect with the source, if you know God, you know the unknowable. Why? Because God is all-knowing, right? The power of not just aloha, but each of these Hawaiian values connects us to the source, to God. To know God is to know the unknowable. To know God is to know the unknowable. To be connected to that thing that is greater than us. So, with that, I would like to issue the Mahalohana challenge. And this is something that we started doing in our family. And it was to take these 3 Hawaiian values and over a 30-day period, really focus all of our energy and efforts towards being more cognizant. Okay? We would write down in our Mahalohana journal for 30 days 3 things that we're grateful for every day for 30 days. After those 30 days of being able to understand mahalo and gratitude, next 30 days, we started to write down all the things that we have done to express our love to our family, to strangers, to people that we want to get to know. And then the final 30 days, your attitude about ohana is different. Because if you started with ohana, then you only talk to your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, auntie, uncle, right? But if you do this right, by understanding gratitude, it opens up your ability to love, to have more aloha. When you start to embrace aloha and you start recognizing and treating people with more aloha, the people that you treat this way just so happens reciprocates that type of aloha. When you start to get back that reciprocated aloha, you start to really connect with them. And they become family. They become this extended family of who we consider ohana. So now in the final 30 days, when we start talking about our ohana, we start to document all of the people that have touched us in a way that makes us look at them as ohana. And when we look at those things that they have done, we start to create this guide on things that we can do for others. We use their examples of the things that make us feel like they are ohana. And if that made me consider this person ohana, maybe I can do that to somebody else. The idea behind this is really just to really know and understand how Mahalohana really can change lives. It can really help us understand how one value can do so many beautiful things. Two values, it just starts to feel really good. When you bring all three of these values together, it's not just a mindset shift. It's a spiritual shift. I can say that our time here at BYU Education Week, we've had people that came to one class and left feeling great. But that's all they could come because that's all the time allowed for them because of work or travel or whatnot. And we have other people that have been with us since the beginning. They were here, we're listening to aloha, mahalo, ohana. And then they're listening to Mahalohana. These people are fired up. They're so excited for life. And that's what we want for each and every one of you. Now, to help bring this to kind of a different understanding, I'm Hawaiian, and food is a big part of my life. And I was telling my wife, how can we help people understand this essence of Mahalohana? And it had to do with cookies. So the question was, have you a memory of going to your grandma's house or going home and mom or grandma was making chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies or something that was cooking in the oven that was just divine, right? You're walking to the house and you just smell it. Okay? And I remember those days. I mean, there's times where I remember walking, I was still outside and I could smell it. What was going on? Who was home, right? Why was grandma making cookies? Who was in the house? Might be family, might be somebody might have been visiting. Something was going on, something special was happening. Was there music playing? Could I hear grandma talking story and whatever? These are all the emotions that was there. This is all the things that just kept making me feel like, oh my goodness, that was beautiful, right? So I would like to suggest that smell in the room, That's the spirit of Mahalohana. That's what we're talking about, right? So where's Mahalohana? In the oven. That's where it is, right? Mahalohana is the cookie. It's the cookie in the oven, okay? But the spirit of Mahalohana is floating all around us, right? Just, it's permeating through this entire room, even going outside sometimes, right? I mean, I can tell you there's been many times where my friends, we all playing outside and they know that Auntie is cooking. She's baking some cookies. So they definitely aren't in a rush to go home because they cannot wait till Auntie comes and brings some cookies out to us, right? So we all know that smell and that feeling, right? We know it because it's different. And what I mean by that is I can go to any store and I can buy cookies. Not the same, right? I mean, I can buy cookies, right? But no more smell. No more smell. No more that feeling, right? You don't have that same connection to it. Still tastes good, but it's not the same, right? We can manufacture cookies all day long, but we can't manufacture that smell, that feeling. So let's not just go and teach everyone Mahalohana. Let's be Mahalohana. Let's live Mahalohana. My pupu used to say that if the only prayer you ever said in your entire life was Mahalo, it would be good enough. I'm excited to see how these Hawaiian values can change your life, can change your family, can change your community around you. I've tried really hard to keep these values in me wherever I go. But I'll be honest, it's not easy. Life gets in the way, and we lose it sometimes. But it's here. It's here. Just like Grandma not cooking and baking those cookies every day. Whenever she does, that's my way to go back. I implore you, please allow yourself to embrace the spirit of Mahalohana. It can change lives. Thank you again for joining us. Please make sure to give my aloha to your ohana and mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.